Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of music here at the RGM Experience podcast with me, Carl Maloney. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a busy lad, James Gilmore from Rolla. Morning, mate.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, thanks for joining us, pal. I was just like, when I was doing a bit of research, having a chat with you and that, I just think the last time I saw you live was in Yes in Manchester, supporting Andrew.
Yeah. Oh, Andrew, that was it last year?
Yeah, just after, yeah, I think it was last year,
Yeah,
man.
that was our last gig of last year, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good do that.
And then next minute you're playing Manchester Arena supporting Kasabian. So you've been on a bit of a journey, mate. We'll come to that. We'll tease people with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to all that in a bit and just have a chat and get to know you a little bit because I've done a few interviews recently when I'm trying to research people. There's not that much that I can find about you personally. It's all promotional stuff, band stuff, really. So there's like gigs and promotional videos. You've got a new video, all that kind of stuff, which we'll get to. But I like getting to know people, me, James. You know, I'm a nosy bastard.
I think
yeah.
I think a lot of bands probably are quite good at having that personal touch, but I think us as a band quite like to keep a bit of mystery to us.
Yeah, so it's deliberate then.
Sort of, yeah. I wouldn't say it's too. We don't like obsess over doing it, but just yeah, and probably because I don't really know. Yeah, we just sort of it's just band stuff, band.
Yeah. Okay,
but then a little bit to come out in there. So
yeah, sure. Well, let's get to know you a little bit more. So if people are a little bit, just wondering who are these lads that are just out there in life, living the best life. So tell us something about yourself. From how did you start your journey into music? Really, just talk us through what a young James were like before you found out that you could sing. What kind of stuff were you into before music?
Not a lot. I used to play a lot of cricket.
All right.
Quite fitting jumper, really, actually. But then I sort of got into music quite late in my teens, really. Maybe like it was college when I moved to college. When I went into college, It was sort of. Then I went to a few mates were going to Kendall Calling, so I was like, sounds like a bit of fun. So went to that, and then I really started like checking bands out. And then when I met the other lads, they all studied music. I did graphic design, so I just ended up meeting all these other lads that were doing music, and then got into it from there. And I can't really remember. It
kind of skipped through it quite quickly there, though. But what were you like as a kid before music?
Well, parents probably say a little shit.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
There's a theme in musicians, that I speak to a lot of musicians and people like at different levels of the music industry, and there's always a bit of a theme. And I was one and all, James. I were a little bit rich. So I think
gotta let your energy out, aren't you?
Creative types. I think we all started as little shits. I think.
That's it. No, yeah, it was good. Grew up in Manchester and that same school, same house. So yeah, it's just quite average upbringing, I guess.
Yeah. Influenced by any couple. What kind of music were going on in the background while you were a kid?
Mum and dad have quite a broad music taste. My dad was really into like 80s and 90s hip hop, American stuff.
All right. Yeah.
He's got fuckload of vinyl.
Yeah.
But they never really pushed it or drilled it down. It was just sort of on in the background, stuff going on. But then he was also into like the Britpop stuff and the Verve that I always remember them being played. And I think it was just subconsciously hearing music and never really taking any notice of it until I got a bit older. And then again, subconscious going, I've heard this before. This is quality. What is this? And it just snowballing. And I think it wasn't until I was older and really got into music that I think my dad was like, right, I'll show you my collection, and got all these vinyls back out the loft.
All right. Okay. So was there instruments around the house?
Yeah, I remember getting a guitar when I was about it was about 8 or 9 maybe. Some like shitty Strat copy or something like that. Because I was like banging to Avril Lavigne and Busted.
Oh, okay.
For like 2 years maybe, and then I just sort of realised the guitar's harder than it seems, and slowly give up on it. Didn't touch it then until, like I said before, got a bit older and just got back into properly listening to music. So then, there's always a guitar knocking about. I think it got put in a loft maybe for a good few years.
Yeah. They are hard work, though, aren't they? Because it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts, especially when you've only got tiny hands and you're younger. They make it look so easy on the TV.
It does, especially if it's like a bit of a cheap one and it's an acoustic one, because that's what I learned on. And you proper have to go through the pain barrier and like have lines down your fingers and proper calluses with that bleed. You know, you do have to work hard as a kid.
Yeah, you do.
You don't get handed nice instruments when you're a kid going up.
Oh no,
class, do you?
Not a chance. Definitely not a drum kit either. That's too noisy.
So how did you meet the lads then? You know, or were you in bands before, you know, Rolla started to kick off? Just talk us through how it all like.
So as I started getting into music a bit more, I obviously shared a room with my brother, so the bassist in our band, Luke. And then.
Oh, I didn't know I didn't know there were brothers in the band.
Yeah, me and the bassist.
Oh, okay.
Look nothing alike.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, brothers. So yeah, we were just growing up, sharing the same room. I'd be messing about with the guitar, and then think he picked it up, got a bass at some point. So we was always fiddling around maybe like, because there's 4 years between us. So he was probably about 14, I was like 18 or something. So around that era, just messing around with guitars and recording ourselves on the phone. You know, just like, listen to this. Then again, it was always just a bit of a hobby. I never really sang then either. It was just kind of bits over the top. And then moved over to university in Huddersfield, which is where I met Tom and Luke. But we actually all went to the same school, but we never really met each other beforehand. So moved to Huddersfield, and out of a friend sort of got introduced to Tom and McConnell, the two guitarists. Ended up moving in the same house with them for a few years, and that's where it sort of took a bit of shape then. You know, coming back after a night out like 4 a.m, someone picks the guitar up, and sort of it just really happened quite organically, I guess. Just
so it's always been the same lineup then?
Well, no. So once we'd finished, or Tom and McConnell finished university and went back home, that's when we decided actually we'll do this band thing, not whilst we was living together where it'd be easy. No, they'd moved back to Manchester, so there's loads of travelling. But there's another lad that they knew off their course called Mars. He was our old drummer. Great guy, but then he was over lockdown. His girlfriend was pregnant, so he sort of had to make the decision. It was like, because we was really starting to take it properly serious. Then we got songs recorded. Yeah. We was like getting stuff booked in and everything. And he'd done what am I thinking? Did maybe 2-3 gigs with us, because he come in actually about a couple of weeks before our first gig. So I forgot we had another drummer before that as well.
Okay.
I know. I always forget. My memories this year's been that crazy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just forget about everything. Yeah. So we had another drummer called Ryan.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's a sound lad, Scouser. But he just stopped turning up to practice, which is really frustrating because he was our mate, and it was sort of, we've got a gig next week. You're not fucking here. We want to get some practice in and that. We've paid the room. And he held his hand up and said, sorry, but that's when we had to get Mars in, like 2 weeks before, or a week before our first gig.
Just not committed then. It just didn't fancy it.
He was, when he was there, he'd give it everything. It was just, I don't know what it was. But yeah, he's in another band himself now, doing bits and bobs. But yeah, Mars joined, ended up having a baby, and now we've got Saul, who we found just before about May last year, and he went to our same school as well, and he recommended out of a friend, sort of said, because we were struggling to find a drummer.
It's hard work finding a drummer. It's hard work. When I were in a band, we went through about 7 of them.
Yeah,
And they're hard to find. It's hard to find somebody that you connect with and is right into the music as much as what you are as well. When
yeah,
it's someone new as well, isn't it? That, you know, it's hard to find someone to fit the dynamic of it all.
yeah, definitely. But I think it helped because he went to the same school, and
Yeah,
but he'd not. It was one of them. I was like, I'm sure he did a bit of drumming at school. So yeah, we asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, I've not drummed in about 4 years. I've still got a kit, but I'll have to dust it off."
yeah,
And yeah, he'd come down to our rehearsal room, and it was a case of we need a fucking drummer.
yeah.
Anything will do. But it turns out it was quality, so it was a
Honest.
win-win.
Yeah.
So yeah, got the whole setup going, and then we've just sort of it's felt like it's all gone really, really quickly. But then if you actually like now I'm sort of
Yeah.
going back and thinking about it, it's took quite a while to progress where it is. But I think that this last year's is where it's really took off, I guess.
Yeah. So have you always been called Rolla, or have you had any daft names?
We had there was definitely some dodgy ones knocking about, but we'd
I love
started. I know, yeah, it's always just crazy bad names. We was called the Binds,
Okay.
because our old drummer Ryan, that's what he used to call Sigs, and it just sort of stuck. But then we found out there was a band in Manchester already called Binds, so it was like, well, we've got to foot that off.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure where Roller come from. I know Tom, the guitarist, was the one that came up with it, but I think it was, I don't know, it was like rock and roll, and then like roll ups, binds, cigarette. I think there's just loads of different meanings, but it's taken on a whole different. It's just its own entity now, Roller. I think I don't think it needs to mean anything other than just us, I guess.
So how did you find or discover that you had a voice and you were going to be a singer then?
Probably whilst there was when I moved in with Tom and McConnell, and there was no one else singing who was sort of writing songs, and then it was probably after a few beers the confidence had come out. On a night,
You were a reluctant singer then. You were a reluctant singer. You just like you might have a good.
At first I was, because I'd play guitar as well, and I sort of think I'd use the guitar as a bit of a comfort blanket behind the singing. But then I think it was after our first gig, someone went, "You don't need fucking 3 guitars, lads. Come on, just get rid of one of them." So I had to start.
True.
You know
It's
what?
true though.
Yeah. Although we do love loads of guitars because we're just thingy, but yeah, after that. It was during the sort of build up towards it when we started writing songs. We was in the rehearsal rooms, and it was like someone's got to sing, and I think I'm the only one that can sort of hit notes. And then you just learn your voice from there. I think it was not a case of like, oh, this sounds fucking terrible, but it was just I could sort of do it. And then as you get more confident and you grow into it, and after a couple of practices, I'll fucking belt it out. And I always find you can sing if your confidence is half of it, man.
Yeah.
If you have your confidence, you can just hit any note you fucking want. Yeah. Just shout.
It's a shout out.
Yeah.
So how was it being in a band with your brother? Because just reading a few reviews, you do get a few comparisons to another band from Manchester that had a couple of brothers in it as well, don't you? How do you feel about that?
It's one of them. It's very inevitable in it, I guess. And we just think not to shoot anyone down, but we
shoot them down. Say what you feel, mate.
We think it's really shit journalism sometimes.
Right. Okay.
It's just, not shit journalism. It's just a very easy comparison.
Okay.
But it's definitely there. We're not denying it. So, and I think we've come to terms with it a bit more, because we was like, why do they always fucking say that, man? But then it's like, well, yeah, I can understand why they do. But we take more from the Verve, I think, and Black Rebel Motorcycle Club and Kasabian is probably, especially sound wise. But yeah, being in a band with my brothers, all right. It's we get on quite well, surprisingly.
Yeah. So there's no sibling rivalry between you lot then.
No, just
fishing. I'm fishing for stuff here, mate. I'm just fishing for
bickering every now and again.
Okay.
Fucking 5 days at a festival in a tent, and you get to the Sunday bit rough, and but it's just nothing too crazy yet.
Sure. So you've been on this, like journey. So the band's got together. Let's summarize a little bit. So you've all got together. You've all been to uni. You lived in the house for a bit. You've come back, bit of traveling, got your drummer sorted. You're ready to go. So like, who was like the driving force of that? Was it yourself?
Yeah, it was. To be fair, it was sort of in lockdown first time round. I was like, we're gonna need. It's sort of when they started to ease up a bit, so you could still go and do some stuff. I was like, I was paying like 40 quid for 4 hours at a rehearsal room, and I was like, we're gonna need to be practicing more than once a fucking week if we want to make anything serious. So we need to find somewhere where we can just have as our HQ and leave everything in there, just have everything set up, and we can go there wherever we want. So the first initial thing was finding a rehearsal space, which we've got. And then it was just getting everyone's asses in gear and getting them to rehearsal. And then I think once we'd done that, the tunes started coming out, and just jamming away and learning the craft, I guess. What year would that have been? 2020, I think, or 2019.
I can't remember years after COVID. I just can't remember what year.
Just disappears. I think it was 2020. I think it would have been.
My friends keep telling me I'm stuck at 90s myself, mate. So I don't know what's going on sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, and then it was. Then it was a case of, right, we need some songs out. So Tom did a bit of work experience at a studio a couple of years prior, A-Star Studios. So he was like, well, can I ask, I think it's called Andy, the guy who runs it. Can go there. I think he gave us like a cheap deal or something. We did one song, I think. The debut song, Thinking of Tomorrow. I think we spent 2 days in there. Recorded that, put that out. And then, it was, again, I'm getting really confused with the timeline because of COVID. But it was sort of a lot around that. And then it was more tunes, more recording, and then live music started coming back. So we was getting gig offers and working with This Feeling a lot. They really helped us actually to get out there and get some proper good gigs. And
so how much, like, because we talk to loads of people in the music industry, and particularly we'd speak to Spangled when we'd speak to those cheeky boys. That they started off at RGM live gigs, and they've moved on to headlining gigs all over the country with This Feeling, and just have a strong relationship with that company, and they do really, they are essential really to help a band get to another level and get out of their own city and get on the road, aren't they? It's amazing what way they do that.
They've got a really good scene going on. It's a good community as well. Sort of everyone backs each other, all the bands sort of help each other out, and it's a good ethos, and it's definitely a good starting point for bands, especially getting out of their own hometown and going elsewhere.
What's been the most exciting thing for you working with This Feeling?
Probably getting on the festivals that they have first time round, I think. So the likes of Isle of Wight, Truck Fest, and Why Not? That was an exciting moment where it was like, fucking hell, get to do festivals.
I can get into a festival for note.
I know, yeah. Still got a camp in a shitty tent though. Not got to hotels just yet.
Well, that's why I like tram lines, mate, because it's an inner city one. You want to get on tram lines, and you can just live in the city and live in an hotel, mate. That's my favorite one.
The one, isn't it? No mud.
Yeah,
tramlines is good.
It's
a good lineup this year, that, isn't it?
Yeah, man. So all the the festivals start to happen, gigs are happening. You're getting outside of Manchester. That must have been nice. See new sites.
So it's February this year. Went on our first little headline UK tour. I think we did York, London, Birmingham, Leeds, Manchester show at night and day as well. We had in November prior. So yeah, giving us the opportunity to go do that. They've got us some really good support slots as well with the likes of the K's and that. So that meant we was going elsewhere, doing other gigs.
Yeah.
And we also managed to bag the support show at the Parole gig as well with the K's, that was a crazy moment. Obviously going from like 200, 300 cap venues to then playing, I think it's 1,500 at Parole was a bit of a good step.
How did you adjust as a band, to playing to more people, bigger stages and that kind of stuff, and more?
Yeah, we always strive. Yeah, we always strive for more. We're never fucking happy, which annoys our manager, I think. But we always strive for more, and we're like more. But we just take it in our stride, man. It was you sort of backstage at Parole waiting to go on, and it's like this is what it's meant to be like. You walk out and just go for it, just wing it, as we say.
Yeah.
Just fucking walk out, and whatever happens, and it's it's in the hands of the rock and roll gods, if you like. Then you just take it away, don't you? And you've just got to do it. Show must go on.
Well, how do you feel you developed as a front man yourself, playing to these bigger and bigger crowds?
Yeah, I think maybe not necessarily bigger crowds, but just doing more, playing to people and crowds more often. You learn how to read a crowd, and I think it's very important to still just even if there's 20 fucking people that have turned up, you still play as if you're playing to that 15,000. You know what I mean? And they feed off your energy. If you're a front man and you're fucking hungover from the gig night before, and you're not really giving it, the crowd can see that, and it will be a bit of a dead show. But if you go out all out, they'll feed off that, and then they'll give you energy, and so you learn to read the crowd, but you always put in that 100%.
What do you look out for in the crowd? I'm fascinated by this.
Mosh pits, maybe.
Yeah.
I look out to see who's the craziest cunt in there, and just be like, he's mental. He's gonna get on his side, so some girl on shoulders. We're not even started a song or something. It's like,
that's a good idea.
They're gonna help me get everyone else going.
So tell us something that you think would be surprised about you and maybe a few of the lads and all, if you can share a bit of that. People like to get to know you a little bit more, and that's what I'm about, trying to be I'm a nosy bastard. So tell us something that you think we'd be surprised about.
We've been asked this question loads, and I get stuck by it every time.
Fuck it then. If other people are asking it, I'm not bothered about this one then. I'm dropping this question for
maybe not loads, but once or twice I've just been like, that question of tell me something we don't know about it.
Yeah, okay.
Surprise.
It could be a tiny little thing. I was speaking to Johnny Brown a bit back. I always use this as an example to try and jog your memory a little bit. And he got right into ice skating.
Is it?
Didn't see that coming. So that's why, and you were the first person I asked a question to, and that's why I keep asking it, because it can bring up some gems. It can be a difficult question to answer because it puts people on the spot a little bit, but
I think I always overthink it, me.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, something you don't know about me. I'm really into The American Office.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I don't know why. My girlfriend hates it. Yeah.
Does your girlfriend like the English Office though better?
No, she don't like humour like that.
She doesn't like humour. Okay, fair enough.
I could have put The Office on. She's like, no. But I didn't like the American one at first. It was very strictly UK.
Yes.
It was like, it's the original. That's it. Yeah. But then I'd watched it so many times. I thought, you know what? I'll give the US one a go, and it's brilliant.
Okay.
Steve Carell creases me up every time.
No, it is great. And anything like about the other lads as well that you want to share that might have a go at you out for sharing?
Yeah, our guitarist McConnell is titled Captain Slow. But also Saul, our drummer at the minute, is slowly taking that
okay. Slow in what way?
Because they're just everything.
Just okay.
The only thing they're not slow for is turning up on time for band practice. But we'd be 20 minutes late, and we'd still be set up by the time McConnell was plugging his guitar in.
I don't know what I know people like that, and you're just like, what have you been doing? Can you list what you've been doing for the last 20 minutes? Because further forward, you aren't even You know, further forward, sticking that fucking lead in that guitar
Yeah,
down from what you heard 20
that's
minutes ago.
it.
What have you been doing?
But he doesn't realise he's being slow. He's like, "What
Yeah.
do you mean, mate? I'm doing this."
I'm like, I'm busy here. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant.
But we've got like a little. I guess this is something you don't know about the whole band. We've got like a little tally chart of points, slow points.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever see us out and about and you hear one of us shout point,
Right, that's what I mean.
one of us has done something slow.
And where are you on the league table?
Do you know what? I don't actually know. Probably quite high though, because I keep forgetting lyrics.
Okay.
At rehearsal, so getting them wrong and all that fucking point, mate. Like,
You think you'll get one of them like stands in front of you, the way you, lyrics in front of you, or is that just an old man's game?
No, yeah, nah. I think it's just when you're at rehearsal, you're not zoned in, are you? So you
Okay.
just mess up. Just where you are zoned in, but I think it's weird. I only ever mess up in rehearsals, touch wood.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you get on stage, it's just like I remember all the lyrics, so it's not too bad. But yeah, point system for being slow, something you don't know about us.
Yeah, brilliant. So you know, the journey of the band is something that we cover all the bloody time on our Gem Experience because it never gets old. You know, it's all everybody's got a unique journey and everybody's got their own path through this fucking music industry. That's hard work.
Yeah.
So, what makes you stand out as a band? Do you think yourself? Why do you think you're doing so well at the moment?
I don't think might sound a bit cliche, but we're quite no nonsense. Just music, looking cool, sounding great on stage, and just being genuine, you know.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of, especially with TikTok and stuff, which we understand is a vital tool nowadays, but people get so carried away with it, and it's like you sit down and write a fucking tune rather than messing around on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, you can still get great content on TikTok and stuff like that. I mean, we're no pros at it, so we've not really got in any position to say.
I was talking to the lads from the Scratch Record podcast just on Twitter earlier because I put a thingy up, a poll saying are reels a waste of time. You know, all this amount of time that some people like putting reels and reels, you can't put links to anything on reels.
No, that's
TikTok,
it.
you can't put links to stuff on TikTok. So I just wonder is all that shit just a waste of time? Because people fans that like you will see, oh, that's not bad from Rolla, but then next minute they've scrolled on to the next 3 or 4 things. So it's
fast food shite in it, and I
don't know how
it's a double-edged sword because I think bands are clearly using it very well and it's helping them out and fair play. But yeah, for us, it's sort of we'll use it. It's there as a tool, but mainly for us, it's like we're a fucking band. We're not YouTubers, you know what I mean, or whatever. So we sit and spend our time writing music and crafting every detail of it and what's the music video going to look like and what's the artwork going to look like and you know crafting our live sound and messing around with pedals and stuff like that. I think is definitely a better way to spend your time. I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with
you.
you.
You can get decent content by just doing that all day. Just film a little bit of yourself, you know what I mean, and then take snippets from your music.
I just know people on TikTok that might have 100,000 followers, be all proud about it, but there's no way of that turning that into like business, really. You know, you can't link to these people for them to download your tunes or like that, or check your website or your video.
Or turn up to gigs is the main.
Or turn up to get. Or, you can't give them a ticket link on it because it's
you see all these TikTokers and that with millions or hundreds of thousands of followers, but then they go and do a little tour at like 200 cat venues, and it's like the numbers don't add up. If you was to
bullshit. It's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the Ratings lads that you had a chat with. They're doing fucking Sheffield Arena, man, and how many followers? I bet they've got nowhere near as many followers as these TikTokers have that are doing these tours, and it's just it gets a bit frustrating because they definitely get a lot more attention than I guess those bands like us that put in the groundwork in and you know traveling up and down the country doing gigs and.
Well, when you put that legwork in, like the Ratings done that you mentioned there, that they've built up an organic audience that are invested in that band. So there's fan groups on Facebook, there's that kind of stuff where fan groups are great things to set up as a band because that's where all your fans go and that's where all your fans share all your content where they've been to your gigs and stuff, and they'll buy your merch, they'll buy your those type of things are very valuable, and setting up and having somebody that's passionate about your band that's set up a fans page for you. I've seen it someone set one up for Andrew Cushing, who we mentioned earlier, and that's great. I've seen great ones for October Drift. Those type of bands, it's so nice to have a community around you. And when that starts building, you've kind of like you've done the hardest thing. You've got noticed, and then that's only going to grow, and then that's half of the battle done, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Once you've got that community there, then your TikToks will do well. I could understand it. It is what I don't know. I do understand those that do use it as well.
I think it's easy. It's easier to get followers and likes on TikTok than anywhere else. So I think people get a bit cocky about it. It's like, oh, I've got 100,000 followers. Well, all right.
Yeah, but what's that equating to?
What's it mean?
That doing for?
It don't mean anything. Where if you've got 200-300 people on a Facebook group that are all genuine fans sharing your music and stuff with like-minded people, it's not.
The main thing for us is getting people down to shows, man. Live is our main. Like, what's the point in being a band if you've got live shows that are shit?
Yeah,
it's all about that. Like, everything builds up to that tour, that live show, that big venue. When everyone's there in person. Yeah.
Is it easier getting them down to gigs now?
Yeah, it's definitely got better. I think though ticket sales are struggling at the minute, just for everyone in general.
As a live promoter, mate, couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah,
people can't even get the mates down because every fucker's skin.
That's it, which is really such a shame, really. But I guess in the context and scheme of things, we're doing really well, considering the state of the country in that sense. But,
well, we can only do what we can do in our own little pockets, and we can't influence what's going on in the world. We just keep going, don't we, mate? Yeah, good on you. Good attitude. Nice one. So, where were you when you found out you're going to be supporting Kasabian at fucking arenas? When I saw that advertised by the band, I'm like, nice one.
Yeah, well, it was our manager. It sort of managed to sorted it out for us, and it was, I think, it sort of planted the seed and sort of said, I've been speaking to him, and they're keen. Serge is definitely keen. Yeah. But it was like, we didn't want to. It was one of them. It was like, didn't want to get too hyped up until we knew for definite. And then it was like, yeah, they've invited you. They want you to come down. Fucking bang into it. So it was like, I can't remember where we was when we got that email, but
who found out first, you, and then you told all lads?
Well, we've all got access to the email account.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was. I think we was all at separate places, but it was like on the WhatsApp group popping through. Yeah. Shit, have you just seen that email? So like, fucking hell, what is it? What is it? So, yeah, it was crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, a bit surreal, I guess. But again, it was, well, this is what we want. We're striving for more. This is where we want to be. It felt right. Might be felt right, even though we're still quite a fresh new band. But it was just like, yeah, this is. Didn't feel out of our depth or anything like that, and it was a great experience.
Well, like whenever that gig was, that I came down to, you were supporting Andrew Cushing at the time. And it was like rammed little room, but then a year on, you got this other opportunity going on. Did you see spikes in like your social media stuff and stuff like that from it? Did it work business wise?
Yeah, it was mad. As soon as we announced it, it sort of took a while, the post though. No, not a while. I think we posted it, and then in the first hour it was just stirring, and all of a sudden I think people was like, fuck me.
Nice.
And they just shared everywhere, loads of likes, loads of more follows. And the new tune went crazy as well for a couple of days, where it just a big spike and that. So yeah, it was really good, really good. Really good for the socials, I guess.
Yeah, so moving on from it, so like this stage, the same size as my little room here, I think. Going on to an arena size stage, that must be. Did you get a chance to like check out where you're going to be and that kind of stuff? Did you get much chance to plan for the biggest stage of them all?
No, it was all sort of. We're not too bothered about that anyway. So it was just sort of, we just had this, right, we've got the opportunity. It is what it is, turn up. And then it was sort of sound check where, well, we turned up at first and sort of walked in as Kasabian was doing their sound check. Just like fucking loud as fuck kick drive. That was the first thing that it was like the sound. And you walk into the arena and it was just sort of like, who the fuck's let us do this? But then sort of went on to do sound check then, and then you sort of stood there and you started playing through a tune. He was like, yeah, this is what it's about. This is what we've been working for.
I can remember years back. I was one of the biggest Oasis fans out there, and I didn't have a ticket for the BA Now tour, so I got one of those like temporary jobs selling hot dogs in Sheffield Arena just to get in.
Just to get in. Nice.
So as soon as the job started, I fucked off. And, and Noel Gallagher was the sound checking, and it's a different. Because I go to a lot of gigs and I'm around sound checks. They're not the most entertaining places to be, but when you're in an arena one, the sound of it is just so different and massive. Just the kick drum coming through an arena PA
fires through your body, doesn't it?
Mental. It's mental. That must have been like when you were sound checking yourself. How did it like feel just to have that power behind you rather than?
Yeah. Well, it was the first time we actually used IEMs.
Right.
We normally just use stage monitors, so it was getting used to that as well. But you'd flick it out every now and again, and you could really get us, especially when the arena's empty.
Yeah.
Sound was just, it was strange because even though you're in this massive room, a stage is still a stage.
Yeah.
So you were sort of on it, and was still got McConnell at that side, and bassist side of me, drums behind. So it was all still very familiar. So it was, you just have to look down. You could have been anywhere else, but then when you look up, that's when it's, soaks in. So yeah, it was a good, definitely different, but I don't think it was that different really. Actually on stage than any other gig.
I always think that behind the scenes or backstage at arena gigs must have some like kind of magic dust on it. I've been backstage at festivals when I thought it was going to be this amazing place when it's just a few sandwiches and a fucking portaloo. And I just have an unrealistic vision of what it's like backstage at arena gigs. Tell me it's magic.
It is definitely better. We turned up at the arena. It's like it smelled unreal of food. We was like, "Where's this food coming from?" It was like, "Oh, this catering. You can go this lasagna." I think they had. But I was like, "Fucking, I can't eat dairy." You try not to eat dairy and fried stuff before I sing. So I was like, I can't be scanning that, but it smelled well nice.
You nicked some for later. Yeah. I was going to put some in a bag, weren't they, for you?
I know, a little doggy bag. But it's just the scale of it, I think.
Yeah.
So you walk in, you got all the tour buses lined up, and you come behind backstage, and it's all the monitors and everything set up, and all the equipment everywhere, and then go to a really nice dressing room down the hallway. I think it's just it's those little sprinkles of like names on the doors and all these people working and doing everything else. We don't know if it was actually Kasabians, but they had a flight case of condiments, which is crazy.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know if it was theirs or if it's just the arenas, that they have. Oh, it had like jams in it and stuff. And it was like, how fucking rock and roll is that? Yeah. A full flight case for
jams and
tomato ketchup, and we don't even have one for our fucking amp. But yeah, it was it's just a bit mad. I think it's something we could definitely get used to, though. Just being in and around all that, and just seeing how much actually goes into these massive shows as well, and the size of the teams that they had, and everyone doing the bit, and it was crazy.
Did you get a chance to sit down with Serge and the boys?
Yeah, we had a quick chat with Serge in Manchester. I don't think he was trying to speak too much though because of his throat and that, but he was sound. And then in Birmingham we managed to have a chat with the other lads. Just about how it was. Really sound.
They do kind of like keep themselves to themselves. They've been doing it that long, haven't they? So they just keep themselves to themselves.
Yeah. Really. Well, in Birmingham they had it looked like they had all the family and stuff there. So by that time they'd finished. We'd fucking probably one too many beers deep. And I think he was chewing their ear off a little bit, but they stood there and had a decent chat with us. So I can imagine. I feel that was made of like, fuck off now. What I've got to see my mum in there.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, really sound. It just gives a bit of advice and
Yeah.
sort of talks about using tracks and synths and stuff and how it really elevates their sound. Because I think that's what our guitarist sort of said. How do you sound so fucking loud? And because he was like, it's just elements, loads of different stuff. He said you can only get so far with guitars and drums. So
Okay.
It was a good bit of food for thought. I think especially if you're doing arenas as well, you need like that extra textures of like synthesizers, or they used a lot of sub, like low end, which really gets you going. But yeah, and keys and that stuff like that, pianos and little backing vocals and backing tracks of harmony vocals and the weird stuff, just like all the stuff Kasabian use.
Yeah, so do you feel like you're always learning because it's all downhill from here now? You played Manchester Arena, mate.
I know, I don't want to do anywhere else. Yeah, get offered the Apollo, be like, nah, it's too simple. But yeah, we still know we've definitely got a long way to go. I think that was another thing with these arena gigs. It made us realize how far we've still got left to get up to them kind of heights and dizzying heights. But it may definitely give us that fucking kick up the arse. I don't think we needed, but it just solidified it that we was like, yeah, we've still got to really work hard for this. And still graft. We know where we are. We know what level we're at. I think maybe the day after it was a bit big-headed and sort of said, fucking right, that's it now. Just played the arena. But then a couple of days went on, it was sort of saying, right, well, we're still Rolla. We're still only got this many gigs and that, and we still got to sell tickets. So yeah, we'll be cracking on, getting back out there soon.
So what's coming up for Rolla then?
We've got Paris.
I'll put a description to all your gigs and stuff and your promotion stuff in the description of this podcast as well, guys. So whatever we're going to say here, you can quickly check out the band stuff as well.
Yeah, we're in Paris on the
Paris. Nice.
Yeah, Paris on the 12th of December, supporting Après with another British band as well called Bandit. It's like this Sound of Brit is, I think it's a magazine over there. It's their like 10th birthday party anniversary thing. They invited us over.
Was that booked through your manager type thing?
They contacted us actually. Quite early in the year, and it was just sort of, we had our festivals and it was like, well, yeah, we'll be back in touch. It was at Rockfield at the time as well, recording the EP that's coming out. And then I think we kind of forgot about it, and the guy emailed again and sort of said, "You still interested?" He was, "Oh shit, yeah, go on then, we'll go to Paris."
Go on then.
Be a nice way to end the year. And then there's nothing else yet. We're hoping there's another gig hopefully in December that we want to hopefully be able to announce soon. That'll just be a nice little end of year do, I think. But yeah, nothing's confirmed on that yet, I don't think. So well, yeah, Paris, and then next year we've got Gorilla, the big boy, our second headline in Manchester. Tickets are selling really quickly for that as well. So even though it's a way away, it's 14th of April. This selling should be sold out, that one. So get your tickets quick.
Yeah, mate. So we'll put a link to it all on the description of this podcast. I'm fascinated about this journey that bands go through, and it's always interesting. It never gets old. And I'm really enjoying watching you guys develop as a band, and you're just having it, aren't you, lads? It just seems great. It just seems it seems like you're really enjoying it as well, which is nice.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. I think we get, especially. So I've obviously got the EP coming out, which will be out very March time next year, just before Gorilla. So we've got a couple more singles to come in the new year as well. But recording that and that process of going to Rockfield and working with Nick Bryan do kind of get a bit of pressure. And you put it on yourself though, really, not off anyone else. So you've just got to make sure you do it right. But then it always boils down to, well, just fucking chill out and enjoy it. We've got the skills to write. We've got the tunes here. We know we can play them. We know we can produce them well, and we'll get them out. And you just got to check yourself sometimes. and just be like, enjoy it rather than stressing out too much.
Yeah, definitely. Just enjoy it. Do it for the love of it. Take yourself out of your comfort zone as well. You know, a lot of people do that. Crack on with your music. Looking forward to all the stuff in the new year and your gigs at the end of this year, mate. And we're just going to follow this journey as RGM. You know, the people that like to support and celebrate, you know, young bands making it and getting somewhere in this fucking industry. Really appreciate your time, James. Is there anything that a message you want to leave to Roller fans just before they click on the description of this podcast to buy tickets for Gorilla if they aren't already, or for Paris maybe, whatever?
Yeah. Keep listening, keep streaming, keep following all that stuff. And more importantly, come down to some gigs.
Yes.
Because I think you really capture what the spirit is of us. And
don't go and see fucking Blur at Arena and pay 100 or 156 in Wembley. Go and see Rolla 10 times next year.
That's it. We might do a Blur cover for you.
There we go. Cheers, mate. Really appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us today, James. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, mate.